I grew up in communist Hungary, where the joke, of course, was, what is capitalism? Capitalism is the exploitation of man by man. And what is communism? Its opposite. So if we look at the truth, what do we see? In this society, what we see is a society that literally makes people sick. Now, because what the medical model does, whether with mental illness or physical illness, it makes two separations. It separates the mind from the body, so that what happens to us emotionally is not seen to have an impact on our physical health, number one. And number two, it separates individuals from their environment. Now, those separations are socially imposed, they're culturally defined, and scientifically they're completely invalid.
Now, turn the record over, and we will continue on the other side.
That mind and body are inseparable has now been validated by modern science. So my profession, although it claims to ground itself in science and what they call evidence-based practice, I only wish. In other words, can you understand people in isolation from the system in which they live? Well, the answer is that you can't. First of all, because the biology of human beings is shaped by the psychological and social environment in which they live. I can give you one example. Asthma. It's well known now, not controversial, that children whose parents are stressed are more likely to have asthma. Ask the average physician what's the connection, they have no idea. And yet, if you ask the physician, how do you treat the asthma? You know how you treat the asthma? With stress hormones. With adrenaline and cortisol, or copies of it. This is how you treat asthma. I'm not going to go into the reasons why, but shouldn't the very fact that we're treating this condition with stress hormones cause us to ask maybe stress is something to do with it? That's because the emotional states of the parents have something to do with the physiology of the child. That's just how it works, because you can't separate the mind from the body, and you can't separate the individual from the environment. Now, if you look at the parameters of stress, what is it that stresses people? The research shows that what's most stressful people is uncertainty, lack of information, loss of control, and lack of ability to express yourself. That's freedom. Now, what freedom is there in this free society, the free world, the freest society in history? What freedom is there when people are not free of economic worry, where there's tremendous uncertainty and fear, lack of control? Or when people lack control over their lives, they have no freedom. And they're physiologically stressed. And when they're physiologically stressed, that's going to manifest in the form of illness. Canadian studies have been shown when children are abused in childhood, their cancer risk goes up by nearly 50%. Why? Because you can't separate the mind from the body. And you can't separate individuals from the psychosocial environment. But if we understand human beings in their psychosocial context, what do we see? We see that stress is not just an abstract psychological event. It has physiological correlates. So when you're stressed, your whole body homeostasis or internal balance is disturbed. And fundamentally, you have disturbances in the nervous system, increase in the heart rate, blood pressure, and in the stress hormones, cortisol and adrenaline.